Hi, I'm Caitlin McDaniel. I'm with Rainbow Media Co. It's wonderful to see you both. Thank you for chatting with me today. How are you?
Pleasure.
Good, thanks. Great.
Yeah, I'm great.
Amazing. So I'm so excited to chat about Eric on Netflix and everything that happens. I just watched it. It's amazing. So just going over to you, Abby, can you just kind of talk about the initial inspiration for creating Eric and how you decided to kind of blend thriller with all of the complex social themes that go into this?
I always think a thriller is a great motor. It's a great engine for any drama. It's a bit like rom com. The will they, won't they? It's like who did or didn't do it. So I think that was always I like thrillers for that the kind of the architecture they offer. But it was a couple of things. I've spent a lot of time in New York backwards and forwards over the last 30 years. It's a city I'm incredibly enamored with and fascinated by. But I came here in the mid 80s when I was like about 87 when I was 18. And I just kind of was so drawn to it at that time because it was so sort of vivid and just like I'd seen it on the movies, and there were big yellow taxis and there was amazing skylines, but also there was this vivid music scene. There was, there really were NYPD cops and there really were big hamburger chains, and there just was like a vibe to it that I found so fascinating. And I looked after a little kid in the city at that time. It was part of like my gap year, and while I was looking after Bud, I was also through the window of the kitchen. I could see across the street there was a old theatre, and through the sort of long window, I could also see there was some kind of like chat show going on, and I could see people were queuing up. And there was something about this kind of weird collision of a city I'd seen in the movies and fallen in love with, and then I was watching another bit of sort of TV making happening. So it was partly that, and then it was also the fact that I grew up with a theatre director father and an actress mother, and I loved creative communities, and I knew the dinner table as a place where you pitched ideas, and I'd been on stage and I saw backstage, and I wanted to create a show that was about behind the scenes as much as in front of the scenes. And the kid that I looked after at the time was crazy about Sesame Street, so there was a sort of nod to those iconic TV shows. And so it was, for me, there was a kind of a fascination around what would happen if I really exposed the lives of those people who made those shows, and what were those shows really saying about the city. And so that was the kind of starting point.
Absolutely. I love all of that. There's so many different elements just from the storytelling that you really, really come through in the show. So I love that. And going over to you, McKinley, I mean, I love your character, Michael, and I just want to know if you can tell us a little bit about him and what it means to you to bring a character like him to life, especially considering the rarity of such nuanced roles for Black and gay characters.
I play Michael LeDroit, the detective in the NYPD, who used to be on Vice, but has sort of found his purpose in missing persons. And it was really exciting to me to read the episodes that Abby had written, just read a story that was interested in who the man is in his fullness, and understand that I would get to sort of be an integral role of like finding our way through this thriller, but also get to fully unpack what it was to be Black and queer in the 80s, and navigating an AIDS epidemic, and dealing with what it is to be closeted and compartmentalizing your life that way. I think there's so many nuances and opportunities to share the fullness of what that experience was. And like as a Black queer man, to get to champion that story was a gift.
Absolutely. And now that we're seeing it all come together, I wanted to ask, I mean, is there anything that was surprising about creating this series for both of you?
I think we were just talking about it, that actually, the process of making a show is such a huge collaboration, from obviously the process of developing and writing the script through to then bringing that entire production team. And then you move into the directorial relationship, and then you move into bringing this incredible, collective of actors. And you never really know quite how it's going to turn out. And although we all walk the walk together, you don't always play opposite each other. That was something that kind of came to mind, that, you don't always get to see some of the scenes that that your actors are in. That was something McKinley was talking about. But certainly, for me, you just hope all the jigsaw puzzle pieces will come together, and you're really looking for a director who will carry that through. And I think Lucy Forbes, who was a fantastic director on this, really helped embrace and help us build that vision. So I think it's kind of reassuring to see those pieces land. You spend so much time in the edit. As a creative team, we spent so long in that edit working out which pieces worked and which pieces didn't. And my goodness, you watch performance after performance after performance. And I have to say, McKinley, I don't think ever gives a bad performance. So it makes it even harder to choose the right one, because there are so many to do. But I think there's just a kind of a feeling that you've made your way through the maze and you've kind of gone, okay, it does make sense. There's a way to get in and there's a way to get lost, but there's also a way to come out again. And I think that's what I feel after looking at those 6 episodes and going, okay, great. There's a sense of peace that it's going to land.
Yeah. Collaboration is definitely the word of the day, because it's one of the things that excited me most about Lucy is that she has a firm grasp on where she wanted to go with so many of the scenes. But I felt very much trust from her and from Abi that there's something for me to bring. There's something to fully flesh out and explore that is somewhere between what we all know or think we know. And that's really satisfying as an artist to get to fully collaborate and create something together. And something that surprised me when I got to watch it back is just how much of a role music plays over the course of this series. It's deeply satisfying to me that it sort of lands us in a place and a time, and it creates a real rhythm to the show that is very distinct to Eric.
Well, it is a beautiful and tragic story, and I can't wait for everyone to see it. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.